Spring is coming, and so is the hottest real estate season of the year. Are you prepared to take advantage of the opportunities, or will you miss out in the competition? Let's make sure you're ready to win in Montreal this spring market. Spring is right around the corner, and in real estate, that means one thing: the market is about to heat up. I'm LJ Aguinaga with LJ Realties in Montreal, and today we're diving into everything you need to know about the spring real estate market. Whether you're buying, selling, or just planning your next move, this video will help you stay ahead of the game and maximize your opportunities this season. Historically, spring has always been the busiest time for real estate transactions in Montreal. Why? For two main reasons. First, in Montreal, we have a National Moving Day of July 1st. This tradition dates back to the days of New France, where landlords were not allowed to evict tenants during winter, and thus the moving date was May 1st. In 1973, this date was updated to July 1st to be more practical and follow the school year. Fast forward to today, the law is no longer in effect. However, the tradition has remained. Now, I just alluded to the second reason. Most families don't want to move during the school year. It's disruptive to the family, particularly to the kids. This creates a high demand, fast-paced environment in the spring where there are more opportunities, but also competition is fierce. In Montreal, the 2025 spring market is shaping up to be particularly dynamic. With mortgage rates stabilizing and even possibly reducing further, buyer confidence is expected to rise, leading to increased activity. However, inventory may remain tight in certain areas, driving competition offers and potentially higher prices. For sellers, this is excellent news, but for buyers, preparation will be key. Understanding the trends specific to the Montreal market will give you an edge. December was a super busy month compared to years past. I expect the trend to continue for the start of 2025 and be in full swing by the spring. Now, the big question: what should you do if you are looking to make a move or get started on your real estate journey? A little tip of advice for buyers: keep watching until the end, where I share a checklist to help you prepare. Advice for sellers: the key is to act early. When the market heats up, you'll be ready to take advantage of the opportunities without scrambling at the last minute. Timing is everything in the spring market. Ideally, buyers should be mortgage ready and actively searching by mid-February or early March to get ahead of the rush. Sellers should list their properties as soon as the weather turns favorable and activity picks up, typically in early March or April. Preparation is the secret to success here, so don't wait until the last minute to get started. Book a meeting with me so that I can walk through your home with you and give you tips in order to help you prepare to sell. There's no obligation for this meeting, and I'll even bring you a free evaluation. Checklists for spring real estate success. Here's a quick checklist to keep you on track. For buyers, get pre-approved for your mortgage. What I mean by this is reach out to your local mortgage broker or to your bank and start speaking to them about how much you qualify for. Understand that there are stress tests involved, how much your down payment might be, and go through different scenarios. You might require selling a property or renting it out before you can get your new qualification. Understand all of these different variables and how your credit is looking in order to make the best decision possible and understand exactly what you're getting yourself into. Next up, research neighborhoods and market trends. Before you move anywhere, you really want to understand what's happening in the neighborhood. What are the schools like? What are the restaurants like? What are the grocery situation, public transit, and have a really good understanding. Do your kids play sports? How are the sports teams? Do you like the local swimming pool? All things of this nature are super important for families, and understanding how long it's going to take you to get to your everyday commutes, whether that's work, schools, etc., is a huge part of this. The next part of that is understanding the market trend. What is happening with that neighborhood? Has it been trending upwards in terms of prices? Has the days on market been more? Has it been less? The more you understand about a neighborhood, the better prepared you will be in order to make the right offer to win the house of your dreams in that neighborhood. Next up, work with an experienced real estate agent to identify these opportunities. Now, I've given you a lot of tips just before, but the reality is you don't have to do all of these things alone. Part of the journey is working with a real estate professional that you trust, and the reality is they're here to do a lot of these things for you and give you quick answers to these questions as they come up. So make sure you hire the right professional who knows the neighborhood that you're interested in order to have the easiest, smoothest, funnest experience possible. Start visiting properties to understand what you do and you don't like. Whenever we start working with new clients, I always say we're going to need to get some mileage under our feet. And what I mean by that is we're going to have to see at least 5 to 10 properties before we can truly identify what are the key points that we can't live without and what are the points that we really want to avoid. That's what I mean by the mileage. And the more you see, the more you know. Now, this doesn't mean that you want to go into it expecting to see 100 plus houses. It's really going to be a question of feel, but I never like making a decision after only seeing 1 or 2 houses. The more you see, the better prepared you'll be. And that's why, especially early on in your search, don't be afraid to go see a couple of houses that have a couple of things that you might not necessarily love right away. You might be surprised by some of the things that these homes have to offer, and they're going to help you understand what you really want. Next up, be ready to act quickly on properties that you love. So obviously, following up the fact that you've now seen different things, you have a much better understanding of what you truly like. Well, once you have that mileage, once you've seen those houses, it's going to be a lot easier to make that decision, knowing that you love these things, that you're ready to move forward, that you're excited about it, and you're not going to have that kind of FOMO and waiting for what might be coming up next and stuff of that nature. For sellers, declutter and deep clean your home. I cannot stress how important this is. When people are coming through a home, they need to feel themselves and envision themselves inside this property. If the property is not being cleaned up, if it's a bit of a mess, if there's things a bit kind of sprawled out all over the place, it is very, very, very difficult for a potential buyer to envision themselves in the space. Now, this is arguably one of the least expensive things you can do when preparing your home to sell, but unfortunately, it requires the largest time commitment from the seller. So I can't stress this enough, but you need to prepare your home properly. We've struggled with certain listings because the deep clean had not been done. A lot of this time, this happens potentially in a divorce situation or whenever there's a bit of a custody control, stuff of that nature. And it makes it so much more difficult to really showcase all the bright spots of the home because people cannot get over these little things that come up along the way. Next up for sellers, stage your property to appeal to buyers. Again, it really lines up with what I just mentioned. When a property is staged, when things look sharp, when they're in their place, people can really focus on all the good and they can, like I said, really envision themselves in the space and they walk away with that warm, fuzzy feeling after doing that visit, which makes it so much easier for them to want to write an offer and give the sellers what they want because they don't want to miss out on this property. Next up, work with an agent to price your property strategically. Again, this is one of the largest mistakes I see sellers make. They say that they want X amount of dollars for their property, but the comparables are really showing that it's only worth $50,000 less or maybe only $20,000 less. That difference, as insignificant as it may sound in the grand scheme of things, could be the difference from getting the right amount of buyers to come through your property and generate the right action and traction for the property in order to get you top dollar. So you want to make sure you price your property right from the beginning. And you do this by working with an experienced real estate broker who's going to show you what the sold comparables have been showing, not just the active comparables. Because the reality is a lot of people might be asking what they want, but that doesn't reflect the true market value. Only sold properties reflect the true market value. Next up, market your property effectively to maximize the exposure. We live in a digital world. There's a lot of things that you can be doing in order to make sure that your property gets seen by as many eyeballs as possible. And you can even take it one step further and looking for qualified eyeballs. Obviously, putting your property in a newspaper might get it seen by certain people, but are those people actually looking? There's a lot more strategies out there, especially today, where you can target the right people who are qualified, who are looking for homes in that area, who have the revenues and income sources in order to make this happen. And by working with the right real estate team that has access to these triggers, you can get so much better exposure for your property, which will ultimately lead to a better sales price in a shorter period of time. Isn't that what every seller is truly looking for? Next up, have a flexible visit schedule to accommodate a wide range of buyers. The reality is buyers want to come see the property. They're not going to be able to give you top dollar and fall in love with the home if they can't get into the home. So if you have a very restrictive visit schedule, it's going to be very difficult to get the buyers through the property. An open house at the beginning is a great way to start with a bit of an open time for people to come see it, but you want to make sure that you have availabilities. This is another thing that can really deter buyers. People have fixed schedules, people have difficult work schedules, especially certain professionals really struggle to have time for themselves. You want to make sure that they can get into the home at the times that they need. The spring real estate market offers incredible opportunities, but success comes down to preparation and timing. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or both, now is the time to get started. Have questions or need guidance? Drop them in the comments down below or reach out to me and my team at LJ Realties. We're here to help you make the most of this exciting season. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone planning to enter the spring market. Let's make your real estate goals a reality this spring.